I've been waiting for this. So like I haven't talked about this on the podcast yet, which is I used to smoke and I quit smoking, right? And like I didn't want to talk about smoking. I think I mentioned it once with like in a Josh interview, but like I didn't want to bring it up when I smoked, obviously, because like I wasn't proud of myself. Like I wanted to be like this fitness role model, and you know, it was super hard. But I've quit for like 5 months now or something, 4 months, and I waited because you actually quit smoking right at the same time as me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, I kind of want to hold off and have this conversation with Blake, so we could both just talk about that experience. Hopefully help other people quit with like what worked for us and what didn't. So yeah, I mean, how'd you quit?
Lots of failure. Like, and that, I think the biggest takeaway, if I had to give any advice, is like that's okay. That's actually needed. I think it was important that I like relapsed, that I failed. You know, there's one point like 4 days in, and I'm tracking on an app, right? I think that's a big thing, like tracking your numbers, and like breaking down and actually going back to it, and then resetting that number and remembering like how that feeling is. Because if you just quit and you haven't failed yet, it's like the only thing that you can think about when you're thinking about smoking again is like that feeling, like, oh, it's on a pedestal, it feels so good. But after you've relapsed once, it's like, no, when I think about smoking now, just remember how bad that felt to reset that progress, or how that buzz wasn't really worth it, or how you got dizzy afterwards because you're not used to it anymore. Like that was really important for me to be able to move forward past. I didn't hold it in this high regard anymore after that. So I think that was super important.
Yeah, wait, how long ago was the last time you smoked? Like how long has it been you're clean of nicotine now? Is it like 5 or 6 months?
Yeah, it's like
6?
170 days at this point.
Okay.
Like around, yeah.
I think I quit like a couple weeks after you. Like I think it was like 3 weeks after you. So I'm
Yeah.
probably about to hit 100 days.
Yeah.
I also didn't want to talk about it while I was like 20 days out, because like just in case I relapse.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we should celebrate too soon, but I think we're clear of it, right? I think after 6 months, it like you're kind of like out of the woods on it. I mean, it's never like you're never completely gone, and like that's something that I've learned is like a struggle too. It's like you would think like, okay, like a year later or something, like you don't have that urge, but it's like I want to smoke as bad today as I did 6 months ago. You know what I'm saying? Like I always want to smoke now. It's just like an ongoing problem, or like a thing that you like live with, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's something that like I guess it's not surprising because it's an addiction, but it's like, damn, dude, like it's still like a battle that you're battling. You know what I'm saying?
1000%.
But yeah, like for me, and this is what I wanted to like kind of discuss, and hopefully other people can get something from this. Like I knew that, like I did a lot of research on like forming new habits and like breaking old habits and things like that, just like the psychology behind it all, and like I knew I had to transfer that energy over to a new habit, right? And I tried all sorts of things like gum, you know what I'm saying, like the fidget spinners, like all these different like methods, right, to like switch that habit process over. And the thing that actually, it was kind of unintended, but the way I quit was right at that time too. Kayla asked me to buy a big jug, right? And we probably even talked about this on the podcast with her, but I needed to drink more water every day. And so I bought that jug, and then every time I got the urge to smoke, I would drink that jug. You know what I'm saying? I would drink water. So like, and that kind of, you know, like there's like a nervous twitch kind of addiction with your hand, and there's like an oral fixation part of the addiction. So that kind of like satisfied both for me. It was almost like pulling the cigarette to my mouth, right?
Right.
So I had all these like ideas and plans for quitting, you know what I'm saying? And then unintended, like I transferred that energy over to my water jug. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I just wanted to go on the record here saying like that was the best method for me. I know people, you know, have all sorts of ways. Did you like have like a method that you used for like building like a new habit or something around it, or like did you have like a?
I think that what worked best for me actually was various forms of toothpicks they have like cinnamon flavored, and they have a lot that have like one in particular had like the toothache tree, which is like a tree to help with like numbing of your mouth. like medicine, and have that in my mouth, because it actually caused a sensation on your like on your actual gums and on your lips, and like that whole like feeling of that toothpick there, and like being able to chew on it and just having it in my mouth definitely helped a lot. But I think unintentionally for me too, and what helped me mentally and what helped me, I guess, more long term after the, like the initial physical cravings and the habit breaking of like the physical motions you go through is, one day I was just like, it was like 3 days in, I'm like, I gotta get out of this apartment. I'm going wild in here. So I went on a run, and that was the first time that I've actually ran in so long. And I don't even know how it became what it is now, but like now I run, 4 to 5 times a week, and that's my new hobby. That's my new like passion. And it just came out of nowhere. It just literally came from me just saying I'm gonna break my, like, I'm gonna relapse if I stay in this apartment. I just gotta get out of here. And then it was just, it's cool. It's like those unintentional things that suddenly, like, I don't know, become really important. And that was what worked for me.
Wow, dude, that's awesome. I'm proud of you for both, right? Like running that much and quitting,
Yeah.
And that's something for anyone who's like thinking about quitting or whatever. Like, at first, it's like you need to admit to yourself that you need to quit. Like, I was in denial for the longest time of like, I can quit whenever I want to, right? It's not a problem until you admit to yourself that it is a problem, and that's kind of hard. And this is your wake up call for anyone who's like, oh, it's not a problem for me, you know. But what's it called? Another good reason is like, it is so transformational for you. It like spreads through your whole life. You know what I'm saying? I read some book on this, or a book about like habits and shit, and they used some lady who stopped smoking. Right? It's like for most people, unless you're like on heroin or something, quitting smoking is like the hardest thing for you to do. You know what I'm saying? So once you do that, everything else becomes so much easier. Like going on those runs are so much easier than quitting smoking. You know what I'm saying? And like, same thing for like, now I can wake up on time, or now I can, build this app, or do this triathlon, or lift weights, or like what all the other like healthy things that you want to do in your life, they become so much easier for some reason when you quit smoking. It's like a very transformational process that you go through, and it's very like, I don't know why, it just sets so many other things like in line, and that your running comment just reminded me of that. It was like you're just immediately like thrown into like healthier habits and situations for some reason. I don't know why it's so transformational. You know what I'm saying? But it is. Yeah. It is really like.
Yeah, and I think for me it was like, it's like one of the most humbling experiences of my life. Like, first off, like you said, admitting you have a problem. Like, first off, it's like being truly honest with yourself. Like sitting like that internal debate, looking at yourself objectively, being honest with yourself, and then during like the initial quitting phases, like you get to see, after being honest with yourself, like, look at how this is affecting me, and you get to see kind of the way your mind works. And for me, it was like, suddenly I would have this really intense, really, really like laser focus. The only thing I can focus in on is the fact that I need it and I want it right now, and I couldn't think of anything else. And it was just so strong. But then it just like goes away at some, like it just fades away, and it comes back and it fades away. It's like a roller coaster in the beginning, but it made me realize that, like your mind's not always working in your best interest. It's just working in like, and how it became. So like, then when those cravings came, I'm like, okay, this too will pass. Like, this is gonna pass. This is temporary. Like, this is not the final state. And it's like, I learned a lot about the way that my mind works, because I got to see those waves and got to see the ways that my mind tried to get me to do things or not do things. So I feel like I have a better understanding of my own mental headspace, and I can control it more and apply it to like anything that I might want to do.
Yeah, because when you are smoking, it's like you're basically like living in denial or something of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's worse with cigarettes for sure. Like I wasn't very down on myself when I smoked a vape, but definitely when you're smoking cigarettes, you're like, fuck me, dude. Like, I suck. Like, I can't kick. Like, this is like an obvious terrible habit. Like, but like you also in denial of those thoughts. So you like simultaneously you're having this thought pattern of like, I suck, I hate myself, I'm worthless. Then at the same time, you're having this thought pattern of like, this is fine. I'm choosing to do this. I like this lifestyle of smoking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like it. I hate myself. Like, both those things are like simultaneously going on in your mind, and you don't realize it. It's like so weird. I can't explain it. Because you're on the one hand, you know how bad it is for yourself. Like, you're letting yourself die younger. Like, all these, like, I'm almost getting like emotional saying it because it's like sad to like think about my mindset like back then. But like, you're just like so. It's like so depressing, dude. It really is. It's just like so bad, dude. And it's just like, you don't want to admit it to yourself. You don't want to admit like how like bad you're treating your own body. You know what I'm saying? So you have to live in this phase of like denial of like, I like this. I like who I am with this. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's too hard to swallow the pill over here that like you're not treating yourself well. You know what I'm saying? And then that's the switch is like now you're treating, like, now you care about yourself. Like, when you if you can quit, you know what I'm saying, like, that love, like, you're finally like loving yourself. Like, it's hard. It's making me emotional, man. But like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like, to like really love yourself, you know what I'm saying, and like step away from that, like, it gives you like so much more confidence, like, in all the other areas of your life. You know, it's like really a domino effect where it's like, no, like, I care enough to like stop this, you know what I'm saying? And that care and that confidence, it spreads, you know what I'm saying? Like, now I care enough to fucking kill it at work, and I care enough to like you know, like, treat other people in my life well, and do all, you know what I'm saying? It's like it succeed in my company, you know, like, why do I deserve to like succeed in my company if I can't even quit smoking, right? Like, those thought patterns, like, they don't manifest well. They don't manifest into success, and they don't. And like, I don't know, man. Like, I didn't expect to get like emotional in this conversation, but like, if you're listening to this right now and like you're still smoking, like, this is your fucking wake up call. Like, I don't know what you're doing listening to me talk right now and like hitting your jewel or whatever it is. Like, fucking stop. Like, care about yourself and just fucking stop.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head too, because for me it was like the mental gymnastics that go on to convince yourself to, like, whether it's ignoring it, whether it's I didn't realize how much it changed my like actual thought process until like after, and now that I feel like I have clarity, like looking back, like I can twist it in any way to make it fit my narrative, to make it okay for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could convince myself of whatever I needed it to, and like that it was okay, that it wasn't a problem, that I didn't like just thinking about like hiding away in a bathroom and like hitting, like, needing to hit a jewel and like just trying to keep it secret, and just it's just it's so demeaning. It's just so like bad that I gave something so much power in my life, and I let it control so much. I let it control my thought, and especially for me too, because like that's like the one thing that I really pride myself on. Like, the one thing out of anything in this world that I hold really dear and like I'm proud of is like my mind. And if I just gave this thing the reins, like, and let it go nuts, and it damaged my relationships with people, it damaged my confidence, my mental health, and you don't truly understand it until you're on the other side of it, because you're doing those mental gymnastics, and it's like, oh wow, like, oh, the reason that I felt so awful the past like 6 months was because I constantly had nicotine in my body and it was constricting my blood vessels, and I was like operating at not a normal sober state at all times. And it was just something that really, it feels really, really good to be on the other side. And it feels like, I don't know, it's like I've been walking around and been doing things with like added weight on, and now I feel like I've taken that off, and I'm like, wow, this is what I used to be like, probably. Shit. And like I can do anything. You just feel, if it just is a really humbling experience. I like saw really like I really understood things that I didn't think that I would beforehand, and I really like, you just don't know what your mind is capable of to convince you of things, like, until you like can objectively look back at it and be like, oh, I was just wrong. Like, it's scary to think that I would let that make calls for me. It's truly an intense experience, but I think it's and it's got to be something that someone's willing to do, because it's not easy. So it's going to be a trip. So you have to be fully committed. But once you do, I definitely think as of right now, it's like the best decision I ever made in my life. Like I think it's one of the most important ones too.
Yeah, man.
Really.
I wish we could talk about it longer, but we got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I wasn't sure if you were gonna be willing to share that, but like because it sucks to even just admit that you were a smoker, right? But I really think this will help somebody. You know what I'm saying? I hope maybe just one person or something, but like, I think you just helped me, do a service to people by sharing that, and just talking about it, because it doesn't get talked about enough. And yeah, I mean, if you're listening to this, quit or send it to someone you love. Send this podcast episode to someone you love who needs to hear this, because I know there's people out there who are legitimate friends with me who need to hear this message. You know what I'm saying? If me and Blake can do it, you can do it.